Let's not talk about politics or sports today, guys. We don't want to fight over this shit.
We don't want sport politics together. Yeah.
So we're finally here. It's time to install the FA 510s on this. What kind of car is this?
E36.
Oh,
328i.
I don't know anything about BMWs.
Wannabe M3.
Wannabe M3. So far what we have done to AJ's car, what AJ has done actually, while I've been at home doing nothing, is what have you done, AJ?
M3 bumper, M3 rear bumper.
Okay.
Hood painted, roof painted.
The loofah.
Hardware motorsports. I think studs and.
So you converted to extended studs
instead of shitty ass bolts.
Okay, awesome.
Front, rear, all around. The rear we went ahead. The rear we went ahead and did subframe bushings, rear trailing arm bushings, and differential bushings. While we're doing that, we also pulled the subframe out and welded in the reinforcements for the subframe and the rear trailing arm.
Dope.
I don't want that shit to tear out.
That's like a common issue with the E36 too, right?
Very common, yes. Unless you have, I think it's a 96 and newer M3. They came factory that way.
Okay.
95s, I hear, is hit and miss.
Okay.
M3 rear muffler to go with the M3 rear bumper. And on the inside...
Now you're missing the trim for the M3 bumpers, but you said they're going to be coming in...
The body shop already has them. I just got to take it back to be buffed. And after it's buffed, they're snapping the front and the rears. Everything's already there.
Awesome.
And then on the inside, I slapped in my JDM ITR Recaro on a wedge bracket and it's MKHA short bell-ring shift knob.
That'll keep you in a little bit more on the track, so that's always a good upgrade. Definitely better seating is good on the track, guys. So as far as today goes, I know you got some also some extra reinforcements for your coilover install.
Yep.
These are OEM pieces, right?
The fronts are. They go in between the coilover and the shock tower.
Cool. Can I see that?
Yes, sir.
So this is an OEM part, guys. This is the part number. It's missing a part number. But how much are these? Like $20-some?
16 bucks each.
All right, 16 bucks each for the top. Definitely something to look into. And as I spoke about them a little earlier, we do have the coilovers. They were unboxed. You guys saw me unbox them, talk about them a little bit. But what else do you have for the car, AJ? I think you're going to install also a cross brace at a later date.
Yeah, I got the OEM cross brace from Z3.
Cool.
And then some DS1s going on afterwards.
All right, well, let's stop all that Beamer talk and let's get this car in the air. Maybe a common question, maybe not, but where do these go, these top hat reinforcements for the front? Just to show you where they go. AJ went ahead and put one on. It goes on the underside of the strut tower. So it's going to go sandwiched between the camber plate on the Fortune 510, which is right here, and the bottom of the inside of the front strut mount. So this is definitely something you want to make sure you. It's a cheap way to reinforce it. Definitely worth the price of it. At what, $20 you said, AJ, for each one?
16 to 17, depends on where you buy them.
So definitely something that's worth doing when you're upgrading your suspension on your E36. Is there something like this for the E30 also?
No.
No, and the E30 is just the rears, right? That may be an issue.
Yeah, I'm not sure about those old dinosaurs.
Nobody cares about E30.
No.
Until the next project, the E30, right? So definitely pick these up. BMW dealership.
Yeah, you can buy them at BMW. You can buy them on Turner, Beamer World.
Hey, there you go.
One of the 5 million suspension or
I'm sure there's plenty of aftermarket Beamer places to get it from, probably. So yeah, definitely look out for that. All right, AJ, show the people your stud. All right, so like I had mentioned before, AJ had installed these studs. These studs are from where?
Motorsports Hardware. I got them used from IED over at King's Auto Body in Huntington Beach.
Okay, cool.
off his old E36 race car there.
Okay, cool. And these just install by basically taking an Allen key to the end of it and threading it in pretty much. Did you have to use any thread locker on the back side of it or anything?
Blue Loctite.
Okay,
if
cool.
you ever need to replace the hub.
Okay.
And then
the
torque 'em
non-permanent
down to 30 foot-pounds of torque.
Cool. And you've already upgraded your rotors to, what are those, Stop Techs? You got Stop Tech pads in there too?
No, HPS.
HPS, Hawk HPS or HPS Plus?
HPS. Just
Okay,
regular HPS.
just regular HPS. Did you upgrade the rears to Hawk HPS also?
Yes, sir. All four corners.
All right, cool. So you got the Stop Tech brake calipers, the rotors up here too, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, nice. All right. So the car's in the air, and we're going to keep going. We're going to have to remove... There's a bolt down here at the bottom, right? Oh, yeah, there. Ah, there it is. That one right there. Are you gonna have to remove that top bolt right there to get the spring down? So once the strut is actually removed, it'll actually decompress that spring enough to go ahead and get the spring up. Cool. And on the back side, in the trunk, there's actually two. Bro. So there's actually two bolts in here that hold the top of that actual strut, and then you'll be able to drop it down from the back side there, and then that'll be removed, and we'll go ahead and show you how to install the rear mount for the spring. So after about 5 minutes of figuring out how to get these back seats off, you definitely have to go ahead and pull the back seats apart. As you hear, I have a mess in the cabin, to pull down this lining so you can gain access to these two bolts right here that hold up the rear strut. So we got those ready and those ready, and AJ is going to go ahead and take them off. Get it in the hole. Boom. Down. This is how the lower mount for the rear sits after you go ahead and install it. It's sandwiched with this washer here in the arm, and the spring goes inside of it with the supplied bushing in here. Once it's all compressed, it'll shove its way into the correct spot up here. So that's how that goes for now. That's as far as we've gotten. We're about to put in the rear strut. We've already removed the old one here, and we'll be installing one of the new rears in a second. Here, feeding it in, putting it through. We're gonna have AJ go ahead and just tighten it up. He will be getting rear reinforcements in at a later date, but they would go right here on the top, sandwiched between the bolts. As we continue along. Preloading, for sure. Definitely always set your preload before you put them in. This is the front of the E36. You're gonna go ahead and measure out the spring. This is a 7-inch spring. So what you do is, with these lock washers loose, you definitely want to go ahead and turn them until you're at about
6 and 3.
about 1/4 of an inch preload. So you want to keep going until you measure it out. And like AJ said, you want to get to 6 3/4 inches. Still not there, we need a little bit more. So just keep adding in the turns until you get to that 6 3/4 inches. And there you are. Looks like a little bit more. Now I get this question a lot about preload. That's why I've been including it in the videos. Oh, like 6 3/4 to you, AJ?
Yes, sir.
So 6 3/4 for me. Cool. So that's how you go ahead and set your preload for the front, and that's it. So for the front, what you're gonna go ahead and do is you're gonna need a 18mm socket that holds this bolt, and this one right here to be able to go ahead and take the front strut out. They're going to use a 13mm for the top three. These do come with the sway bar and link attachment here. This is a 328i.
Yeah, M3s would go on the strut.
So the M3 sway bar will go on the strut. We won't be using that because on the 328i it actually mounts to the control arm, right? The lower control arm. So that would be that. But it has all the attachments here for all your sensors. So all that's going to be going on. Don't want to do. We found out the hard way is whoever had this car before added red Loctite to the suspension bolts.
This is the hard part.
Don't use red Loctite. Red Loctite is permanent. Blue you can remove. So use blue Loctite. But I still wouldn't recommend blue Loctite for suspension parts, just in case you have to remove them. It makes it a pain in the ass to remove this kind of stuff. So after a lot of struggling, this strut is finally able to be removed. So old, new. Again, we're going to be able to adjust camber. We're going to have camber plates on here. While these were just stock OEM fixed plates. We have the radial bearing upgrade, so it'll reduce noise as the suspension is turning left and right. And we are going to install the top hat, the strut tower reinforcements that are going to go over. And you'll still be able to go ahead and make your camber adjustments there. Bolts all cleaned up. AJ took a wire wheel to them so he could remove whatever remaining Loctite was on them. So we're going to go ahead and put these back in. I already went ahead and tightened the top loosely. But you can see here the metal sleeve here. That's the reinforcement that we installed that goes sandwiched in. And you can go ahead and make any of your dampening adjustments and camber adjustments right here at the top. So here it is all mounted up, installed. It's tightened up here at the bottom. All three bolts behind are definitely all tightened up. What I did leave loose was this collar right here, so we can go ahead and adjust height. So we'll be doing that once all four of them are in and installed, and that'll be that. Ah,
Too late.
damn it!
What's he doing?
He's doing the thigh master thing when he jacks it up with his leg. Look at that, working the glutes, man. So we're all done installing all the coilovers, all the ride height adjustments. All the ride height adjustments are all loose. So we're gonna put the car down. We're gonna see where it sits. You might notice the wheels are a little different. AJ went ahead and opted to go with the M3. Was this a 95 M3 wheel?
Yeah, DS1s.
The S1 wheel, just a square setup. He went ahead and put new rsr-r rubber on it. He's running at 235 4017. So a little wider than stock for sure. There should be plenty of rubber for next week's shakedown at Street to Willow. So this is initial ride height. It's a little too low in the front and a little too hella flush in the rear. We're gonna go ahead and raise it up about 3/4 in the rear, about 1/4 in the front. This car will be tracked and will be a daily. So for us, it's not really that functional to be that low. We're gonna go ahead and raise it up a little bit, but so far so good. Alright, so the car's on the ground. We got our final ride height. Car rides pretty firm as we expected for 510s, but again, this is more of a lightly daily driven vehicle and more so for track purposes. So we want to get that M3 performance out of our 328i. Car's pretty torquey. So that's pretty much it until we hit Streets of Willow. Right, Cesar?
Right.
So what do you think, AJ, so far? What do you think of that short test drive? How'd you like it?
Amazing.
You look pretty depressed.
No, tired.
Okay.
No, tired.
No, sorry.
So we'll see AJ again in a couple of weeks when we hit the track.
A little update, guys, on project Wannabe M3. The rear shock reinforcements came in. I already went ahead and installed that side. Go ahead and install this side. And we're all done.